here we go with the big recipe. First, we take half a cup of water, about 100 milliliters, and heat it up. You can heat it in a kettle, you can heat it in a saucepan, or, like me, in the microwave. The point is that it's warm, very warm, because we're going to take advantage of that temperature to dissolve in the water quickly. Half a tablespoon of salt. So we take fine salt, put it inside and stir it around until it completely dissolves. This hardly takes you even 15 seconds. Look how quickly we have it. Now, what we do is take a wide container and put that warm salt water inside. So there, I made it perfect. And here we are going to use today's ingredient, which is flour, specifically 2 cups and 2 tablespoons. So we add with this baking tool 2 cups and also 2 tablespoons. Add it up, that's about 290 grams. I'm using regular wheat flour, the flour that is also called all-purpose, the normal and common one. Once we have the flour in, all we have to do is mix it very well and knead it a little bit to form a ball. So we're going to be stirring it with a pastry spatula, which you can also call many things, as you've told me. And that's it, just mix it super well. Here's the trick. If you see that you're not forming a dough, a ball, you can add a little bit of water, like I just did. Just a little touch, a teaspoon or 2, and you repeat the operation until you form the dough. And if the opposite happens and it's too wet, you can solve it simply by adding flour. When you can no longer knead it with the pastry tongue, use your hands, in my case, today with gloves, to make it even easier. In the end, you have to achieve a dense, slightly chewy dough, like this one I have here. What I do is let it rest, so I cover it and wait for 20 minutes. After that time, we're going to stretch this wonder. You can do it simply on a flat work surface, lined with a little bit of flour, or, well, on a silicone, like I'm going to do. So we add and stretch with a rolling pin. We're going to flatten it as much as we can. If you don't have one, a bottle will work perfectly fine. Here, it's just about applying pressure and stretching to the sides little by little until you form a flat surface. How thin you want it. If you want them to be ultra crispy, make it super, super, super thin. If you want them to have a bit more body, leave it a bit thicker. The point is to enjoy, so make them to your liking and in the shape you desire. I like to make little rings, so I take this cookie cutter, typical for making cookies, and I start making the shapes. There are the circles, another one and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. Like this, until I use all the dough, and then with the leftover dough, I knead it again and repeat the operation. And with a smaller one, which would also work for you, for example, a small cap. We make a little hole inside, so they look like a ring. And it's great because they brown evenly, so making a hole in the center, besides being aesthetic, helps us to make them crispy, uniform, and in addition, with another little trick to drain the excess oil more easily. Look, here I have one that is going to be my example today. Remember, before you start frying, grab a plate and place a couple of kitchen or absorbent papers on it. Then, in a container with plenty of oil, we check that it's hot by placing a wooden utensil in the center. If bubbles come out, oil is ready. I have the oil at medium-high temperature. I set the fire at medium-high level and wait for it to heat up. Then we start adding these donuts that you see little by little. As they heat up, they start to grow and float. The point is that they get golden brown all over. Likewise, the temperature of the oil is crucial. I set the fire to medium-high level. To give you an idea, my ceramic hob goes from 0 to 9, so I set it to 7 or 7.5. And this way, they become crispy, perfect, and golden. As you can see, after a couple of minutes or maybe less, they are already puffed up and floating. I'm using a wooden stick, the typical ones from Chinese restaurants, but you can use whatever you want. It works great for me because I can pick up the donuts with that stick through the holes. You'll see it's useful. The point is to turn them until they are golden on both sides. So every now and then we check, and when they're ready, we do this. We pick them up. Thanks to the hole, you can pick them up one by one. And the best part is that they stay upright. And therefore, any excess oil they have quickly falls off back into the pot, which is good for making them crispy and not at all greasy. Then onto a plate with kitchen or absorbent paper, and the first batch is ready, so we can make use of all the others. So we keep repeating the operation, we add. We give them a few turns, drain them a bit, and take them out, and in the end, you will have a bit of quantity left. In fact, I also like to leave some of the bits we had from the centers, so they can be some mini snacks, which are always fun, that are bite-sized. So, after finishing all these rings, I take the opportunity to brown a few of the bits from the center. There they go. I simply place them inside, being careful not to splatter the oil because I'm not in the mood to get burned. And I wait for them to brown. Once they're golden, out they go. The last donut and also the last little pieces. However, picking these up with a toothpick is complicated. It would be a too difficult fishing art. You can use one of these spatulas and take them out as best you can, or use a skimmer, which will make it much easier to fish them out. And look, what a result. Now I'm going to show you. The most important thing that, like in people here in the recipes, is also the inside. Look how crispy it gets, and how airy they are on the inside. An easy to make snack, homemade, and without anything. Ultra saturated, all made in your home. That they are easy to make and they look so good, as I was telling you. Flour, water, and salt. Only that. Which, basically one ingredient. That's right, they turn out luxurious. A marvel. I hope you write to me down here in the comments. 2 little things. Where are you watching this video from, and what is your favorite snack? Also, you can watch this other video that you see, which looks super good, and subscribe to the channel, which is free. Also, activate the bell to stay up to date with the news. And remember that I have another channel of sweet recipes called Golosolambia.